What's up guys? It is time to talk favorites again, so let's go ahead and dive into the things I've been loving in the month of September. First, starting off with skincare. This is actually a tool. I've had this for maybe 2 years at this point. It is the Glopro microneedling device, and I've been using it off and on. Sometimes skincare tools for me can be those things where like I don't think to use it until I absolutely need it, and lately I have absolutely needed this thing. I have been having crazy breakouts along my jaw and just around my hairline in general, and so in addition to the products that I'm using, like I have The Ordinary salicylic acid, but to help them penetrate even deeper, and just all of my skincare treatments in general penetrate deeper, help stimulate skin cell turnover faster, I have gone back to using this religiously, morning and night. I will wash my face, and then before I do anything else, I will go in. This actually has a red, well, it vibrates, and it has a red LED light here to help repair skin damage. And so I'll just turn this puppy on, give my face a few once-overs with this thing, including lips and under eye area. Not too close to the eye, but like right about here I will go in, and I will just do that all over my face before I then go in and apply the serums, treatments, whatever I have going on that day. But I have found that in incorporating this back into my everyday skincare routine and being really regular in using it, I'm seeing results with my skincare so much faster. It's just one of those things where I feel like this happens a lot for me, especially with skincare, where I will take for granted what it's doing. I'll just have like, you know, a week or a month of great skin days, and I'll think, oh, that's, my skin must just be behaving. And so little things will start to slip out of my routine. And then when my skin freaks out, I wonder why. So I just need to get better about using my tools in general, but this is one that I've really been loving just because it's helped me see much faster results. Then on to foundation. I am still loving my Lancome Teint Idole Ultra Wear. I actually even bought a backup in a lighter shade going into fall and winter. Normally I'm the shade 330, and the shade that I got was 260, and right now I'm actually wearing a combination of the two, which I feel like is a perfect match. I'd always thought that 330 was a tad too deep for me, even after coming back from vacation where I got a little bit more sun. I still feel like this is like the perfect shade for me, especially once I layer on like bronzer and blush and all that kind of stuff. So great shade, and I love this formula. It's not thin by any means, but it doesn't feel heavy on the skin at all, even when you layer it up, because it's very layerable to medium to even full coverage, which is what I pretty much have going on today. And it has some serious longevity, and I mean, it says up to 24-hour wear and comfort transfer resistant, so I would expect that, but I can definitely say it does that. It's pretty darn heat proof. I will say though, for as full coverage as it is, it doesn't always cover, you know, like the discoloration that I have from the active breakouts or healing breakouts that I have going on. And so for that, I have actually started using a new product that is not only a game changer for me, but it literally changed my makeup routine. And this will probably not be anything new for other people, but I feel like it was just major news for me when I learned about this. It's a facial concealer, and I think this is one that's very popular. It's the NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer. Mine is in the shade Custard, but in the past, I have always used my under eye concealer that I still love and used in my under eyes today. This is the Beauty Bakery Instabake 3-in-1 Concealer. But I was recently at an event at Sephora. I work with a nonprofit here in Dallas called Project Beauty, if you want to go give them a follow. And they often host events in the Dallas area to help benefit women and children in shelters. So if you're in the area and you ever want to go to one, follow them so you know when they're happening, because often I'm there like taking pictures and video and stuff for their social posts. Anywho, was at a Project Beauty event at Sephora where it was like a makeup class, and they were talking about finishing touches, and one of the makeup artists who was doing the demonstration talked about the concealer to use on your face and how it should differ from what you use in your under eye area, because often you'll use something thinner or more moisturizing in your under eye area, definitely me, whereas on your face, when you need a little bit heavier coverage and you really need longevity, you really should look for something like thicker and drier. And my mind was blown. I feel like it's one of those things that I used to know way back in the day, but in an effort to like minimize my makeup routine and the amount of products I use, I was like, nah, it all does the same thing. I'm just gonna go ahead and use my liquid, my eye concealer. This NARS is such a game changer. I don't know that I will ever go back to multitasking unless I forget it and absolutely have to, because the coverage that you get out of this is just absolute perfection. It totally does cancel out the remaining discoloration or even out any of that, you know, skin tone that you can just still see through my foundation, but it still looks so natural. And because it has that thicker texture, it really does not move throughout the day. Like, I don't feel the need to set this with a powder, and yet it still just stays put. Whereas by comparison, now that I've used this and I go back to using the Instabake across my face, I realize that this can sometimes even remove the product underneath. If I like use it on my chin area, it's almost like not only did it not cover it up, but does it look even more sheer? You know what I mean? I'm sure it's not. I'm sure it's just to do with the texture of the product itself, but my world has changed because of this. For bronzer, I am still in love with my Huda Beauty Tantour, and I feel like I have made some good progress on this one, but honestly, it's just in time for me to switch over to the lighter one, which I thought I made a mistake in buying both light and fair, but now that I see, you know, my skin with a shade of foundation that actually matches, I feel like I might be dipping into that fair sooner rather than later. Then I rediscovered a blush when I did a video. It was like a using nothing new fall tutorial a couple of videos back. I reached into my collection and rediscovered my IT Cosmetics Vitality Cheek Flush in the shade Matte Sweet Apple. This is just like, if I can get it open, the perfect fall shade, exactly as it sounds, like a beautiful true red but still soft and smoky kind of apple shade. So beautiful, and has actually really encouraged me to keep going back in my collection to continue to shop my stash, which is actually why I don't really have a favorite eyeshadow palette. I've just been using a lot of eyeshadows, and a lot of them have been those that are existing in my collection because I was trying so hard not to buy any of the new like Natasha Denona or Pat McGrath. So in order to distract me from those shiny new things, I went back and used some of my old favorites from Natasha Denona and Pat McGrath, and I've just been loving them. But I wouldn't say I've been using any of them repetitively so much to where I would include them in a favorites videos, if that makes sense. I love them, but none of them are things that I have just been like habitually day after day coming back to. And in fact, today I'm not even wearing any eyeshadow. I am just wearing an eyeliner. This was another thing that I picked up because of that Sephora class that I was at. This is the Marc Jacobs Highliner Matte Gel Eye Crayon, and they were talking about how to just create a subtle, smudgy, smoky sort of eye line, and that is what I've been doing for the past couple days actually, just smudging or drawing a line on my upper lash line and then taking a thin but still dense smudger brush to smudge it out there and then pull it out into this subtle wing, line my waterline, and then you're good to go. I had had one of these highliners before from Marc Jacobs. I think it was a limited edition holiday shade from last year, and I forgot how much I love that they are so blendable until they set. Like, they're intensely pigmented when you apply them. They give you a lot of time to work with them and smudge them evenly, because sometimes pencils can be a little bit waxy, and as you smudge them, they look like chunky and uneven and patchy as you spread them. Not at all with this guy, and then once it sets, it is done. It's in place. So I really also been loving that as well. And then for mascara, I mean, as always, my L'Oreal Voluminous Lash Paradise. I feel like this end of year roundup that I typically like to do at the end of every year is going to be maybe easier this year than it ever has been in previous years, because I have been the products that I have been continuously using because I love them so much, it's been like an all year kind of thing. This mascara included. Both my brow products, my Anastasia Dip Brow Gel, have not let this go for ever since I've gotten it. And then my CoverGirl Ultra Fine Brow Pencil. Like, these three things, I don't think I have used any alternative products this entire year. Now let's talk lips. I have been loving an overlined nude lip moment. Pretty much the same thing I loved last month too, because I was wearing a lot of bold, bright, colorful or textured eyeshadows, and so it was just a good default to, you know, slap a nude lip on, because you know it's always gonna look good and go with everything. I still really love the nude that I think I mentioned that. If not, it deserves to be mentioned. My Esam dual lip pencil in the shade nude. You get a light nude on one end and a deep nude on the other, which is great for mixing and matching or contouring. The texture is unbelievable, very smooth and blendable, but once it sets, it's like there forever. But this month I tried the lip, well, a lot of products. In case you missed that video, you can go watch it, but a lot of products from House Laboratories, but I especially love the lip liner and gloss duo. The liner is the shade that I'm wearing today. It is On Point. It's just like a light nude shade. And I would say in comparison to the Esum, it's a little bit warmer, whereas the Esum's a little bit more taupe, cool undertoned. And then the gloss that goes over top is, well, at least in the set that I got, this is the shade Venus. It's just like kind of a matching nude. But these are some of the most high shine lip glosses I've ever tried, and they don't move everywhere. You know, they don't sink into fine lines or bleed outside your lip line. Granted, I am wearing a lip liner, so maybe that is why, but I've just had really great experiences with these. The one update I do want to give though is with these lip liners, when you go to sharpen them, they do kind of splinter. Like I was sharpening this before this video when I was going to apply my lip, and I actually had to sharpen it twice because I sharpened it down, it was very splintery, continued to sharpen it, the liner broke off, and then continued to sharpen it some more. And not only is it a little bit of a wasted product, but I still feel like you can see the unevenness here, and so I just hope that I don't like get a little kind of fracture or splinter in my skin, you know? So those are my beauty favorites. I also have 2 TV show picks. I recently watched the 3rd season of The Good Place, and I forgot what a good show it was, but also the 3rd season I think was exceptionally good. They're either filming or the 4th and final season is currently airing, and so I'm really excited to see that. But it was just like, it had been a while since I watched the first 2 seasons, and I was reminded like how smart and funny the show is while still kind of tackling like pretty deep topics, you know, like the human capability of being good and bad and one or the all that kind of stuff. Like, it's kind of deep, but they make it so funny and lighthearted. The other show pick I have is less deep and also less child appropriate, but still so funny. It's I'm Sorry. I think that's a Netflix exclusive show, but it is hilarious, and the 2nd season just launched there too, so I've been like going through those episodes. It's so funny, but like I said, beware, it is maybe not a totally family friendly show because there's like lots of swearing and adult humor, but I love it. And those are really all of my favorites for September, guys. Let me know what you've been loving down in the comments, and besides that, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!